Go ahead.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order then. We do have a quorum, it looks like. So welcome everybody to the May 18th meeting of the Building Membership Council. I'd like to welcome all the Membership Council Governing Committee members, all of our special guests, board of directors, everybody that's here with us. Looks like we got about 25 people total. I'm sure a few more will trickle in as we go. We did not do a special guest speaker or anything for this meeting, just because we do have a lot of stuff that we really need to kind of get through, and we wanted to make sure that we had enough time for all that. So welcome everybody. With that, Bill, do you want to do, we'll do roll call right away, but one kind of new feature, I guess, that we're doing with the roll call is we're also giving the governing committee sort of your own members' time now. So as Bill calls the roll call, as you chime in, if there is a topic that you want to bring up or something that you want to talk about or discuss, here's your chance to sort of have the floor for a minute or two, and then that could lead into adjustments to the agenda, which is sort of the next topic or next agenda item. So as you chime in, again, if there's something that you want to talk about, if you just want to say, hey, glad to be here, whatever you want to do. But that'll also give you a chance, if there is a hot topic that you want to discuss in the meeting, here's sort of your chance to do that. And then we'll still have the regular members' time later on for anybody else out there in the audience or the participants who want to sort of bring up a topic for us. So with that, Bill, I'll turn it over to you for roll call.
Ed, would you like me to bring in, there are 3 board of directors on the call. Would you like me to bring them in to say?
Sure. Yeah, we can bring them in. I should have checked who it was first, I guess, maybe.
Well, be careful what you wish for.
That's right.
So I've just brought in 3 board of directors. Typically, we give them a chance to say hello and say a few words. That would be appropriate.
Sure. Actually, why don't we do that after? Randy's board of directors report, and then they may have something to add or other comments after Randy gets a chance.
Would you like me to do the roll then?
So yep. Let's just do the roll for us first.
Okay, Ed Lisinski.
I am here.
Mark Bethany.
Here.
Tom Allen.
Here.
Audrey Klein.
Present.
Dan Dockery.
Here.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Bill.
Chris McWhite joined, I believe. Chris McWhite. Mike Metcalf.
Here.
Steve Nordhughes. Amarinda Singh.
Here.
Jim Williamette. Eric Woods. Robin Yoakum.
Here.
Doug Wise. Let's see. So I have myself, and then as far as staff goes, before we get to the board of directors, let me just check one more time.
Tim Schmitz is sitting out there.
Tim Schmitz is here. Rich Anderson. I don't see any other staff. I'll make that note. And then you have board of directors, so you could take it from there.
Well, I guess, like I said, we'll do that kind of after Randy's board of directors liaison report. But we'll jump into governing committee members' time if there's anything that the governing committee wanted to bring up and discuss, or at least any topics that they wanted to bring up now. So I'll kind of open up the floor to any governing committee members that wanted to speak. Hearing none. All right, we'll move on. There's no announcements, so we will, I'm looking for a motion then to accept the agenda, which was emailed out. Bill sent that out to everybody. So I guess if anybody has any changes or adjustments to the agenda, we can discuss that now. Otherwise, I'll take a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll move. Mike Metcalf.
This is Amrinder. I'll second.
All right, there's motion second to accept the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, and then we've got approval of the meeting minutes from March 27th, and Bill emailed those out. Bill, I know you also had emailed out January's minutes. Did we not have those at the March meeting?
No, those are the final version at the March meeting. Good question. I'm not exactly sure why I sent those out, but you have them nevertheless, so.
All right, so, well, let's take a motion then. Oh, I guess if there's any, does anybody have any comments or questions on the minutes from March? Hearing none, then I'll take a motion to accept the March, and while we're at it, why don't we re-accept the January minutes just for clarification, just in case we needed to. If anybody,
This is
if somebody
Robin.
would make that.
This is Robin. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Audrey.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from March and January, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, those are all approved and accepted then. Thank you, everybody. We'll move on to the ICC Board of Directors Liaison Report. Randy, I'll turn it over to you for a few minutes here.
Good morning, Ed and members of the BMC. Happy to be here this month. Your board has been busy. We did have a meeting back in April, and I'm happy to be able to report that the board did approve the acquisition of another company. Quality Code Publishing will be joining our General Code family. They are a Western United States-based code publishing group that deals with a lot of California cities in publishing their municipal codes online. Adding this committee or this company to our General Code family actually makes ICC and General Code the second largest code publishing company in the country. So I think ICC staff has done a great job of really targeting a lot of the smaller companies that are out there across the country that may have the market in certain states, and bringing them into our General Code family to really make ICC a large competitor in this arena. And I think that that's going to be very beneficial for us moving forward in the long run. And we were excited to be able to make that acquisition there. We will be meeting as a board for our summer board meeting. Will be occurring in June. We will be in Bluffton, South Carolina, and we're looking forward to coming together again for the first time since Rochester. So we'll have more information to share once that actual in-person meeting does occur. But as far as things that you all should be aware of, we are ramping up. Registration is open for our ABM, so you should be able to find that on the website. I'm sure Bill will be pushing out the links in order to get to the registration page for that, begin to make hotel reservations and whatnot. And we're really looking forward to, we had our ABM last year. It was our first one back. We were hoping that this one will be much more of a normal ABM with an expo, and hoping that any COVID surges that they are talking about now do not affect what we're planning for in Louisville, Kentucky. But now is the time for you all to start planning. We'll hope that you'll be able to be there for the ABM and then Group B code hearings after that. So look for that link soon. I am already registered, and we're looking forward to sharing some time in person then. We are really thrilled to see all of the Building Safety Month posts that have been occurring at the chapter level, at the city level. A lot of really creative web pages that have been done. We're happy that most of our membership councils have chosen to participate with their own proclamations. So I think that it's been probably over the last 5 years really cool to see how this initiative has evolved, how a lot of the social media aspects of promoting this have really given it a much higher level of consideration in many local cities. It's an opportunity for you guys to really highlight what it is that the building official, building inspectors, electrical inspectors, plumbing inspectors, fire inspectors, the role that we play in exposing the public to an area that they probably don't really think about too much unless they're actually building or adding onto their homes or businesses. So we're in week 3 right now, so we do have one more week to go after this. And I know my jurisdiction, we did split it up between fire and building. Fire taking the lead on 2 of those areas that we felt were appropriate with disaster preparedness and water safety. I actually was able to release a position for recruitment during week 2, which was actually the week where we were really promoting the future of the code official there. So I was able to tie that in to my own social media campaign. And it's really an opportunity to think outside the box and see what you all can come up with. So Sustainability Membership Council has done a great job, as they always have, in coordinating a lot of the membership council efforts on that. And I thank them again for taking the lead and for you guys in participation with that again. Let's see here. What else are we going to share? You'll start hearing a new name. Everybody knows Mike Pfeiffer. He's been a fixture here with ICC since our formation. And Mike has chosen now as the opportunity to start thinking about his retirement. And you will start seeing the name Russ Manning being utilized a lot more now. Russ has been selected as Mike Pfeiffer's replacement. And Russ is coming to us as the facilities director for Kaiser Hospitals. And we are looking forward to seeing Russ be able to move into that position gradually as he shadows Mike over the next 6 to 8 months, and seeing a seamless transition there. But we haven't really had an opportunity to get Russ out to have any public interaction yet, the way we did Matthew Wynn, who you've all pretty much had an opportunity to see and hear. But it just shows that there are some really cool changes happening at ICC. We're looking towards the future and trying to find the best and brightest to succeed some of those people that have had a long time impact here with ICC. If you are looking for an opportunity to go to code hearings this year and your budget is still a little tight, I want to remind you that the Code of Honor scholarship process is open. A great opportunity to get some matching funds in order to attend code hearings, as well as if any of you are going to be participating in the Chapter Leadership Academy, that will be happening in June as well. I think that's pretty much what we have going on right now. Still a very busy time. And if any of the other board members that are on want to add to the information I've shared, I welcome that. And I'm able to answer any questions you guys have, Ed.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy, and happy anniversary as well.
Thank you, sir.
What, 20 years today, something like that, right?
My wife has put up with me for 20 years, so I'm fortunate I made it this far.
There you go. There you go. Does anybody on the governing committee have any questions for Randy on any of that? All right. I do also want to say hello to our, I think we have 3 other board of directors on here. Director Bredmore, Spencer, and Boso are on. If any of you gentlemen wanted to turn on your mics and say hi and add anything to Randy, or just any other general comments, I'll turn this over to you 3 for a minute here.
Mr. Spencer here.
All right, have at it, sir.
I do just want to say hi. The only other thing that remind people of is if you're already a validated voter, you do not have to do anything. But now you will see that there's emails that go out. If you haven't validated a voter, do that by August 15th. Or if you want to change a voter from someone, this is your opportunity to do that now. Otherwise, you're good to go all the way through till, I believe, I looked at mine the other day. I'm good till like 4/29 of 23. So next code development cycle. But always good to remember, now's your time to change somebody's name out if they've moved on and you want to put somebody else in, or if you need to validate somebody. Other than that, just glad to be here.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Ben, I see you took your mute off.
Yeah, I just want to say hello. I think my fellow board of directors covered just about anything I would have covered, given the opportunity to have previously covered. The only thing I will add is, you know, if the chair could lay off the Bruins, I'd appreciate it. I'm still not over it yet, so thank you.
That's just aimed at Bill. So yeah.
Okay, well, if it stays at Bill, I'm good. But that was a rough night, so thank you.
Yep, I know. Oh, thanks for that, Ben. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a wipe off your glasses. So sure, you can have two if you'd like. So I'm here at the floodplain conference in Orlando, Florida now. So it's good to spend some time with Dottie. She had to run someplace else, but I'm here at the booth, working the booth, and I don't know, maybe I got a future in this.
There you go. There you go.
But no, thanks for everything you guys are doing. You know, it's outstanding, and just look forward to the everything that you guys do. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. And I do also want to chime in. Director Hampton wasn't able to make it today, but he did send along an email just to remind everybody about, again, like Randy said, getting in the Building Safety Month proclamations. He said Kentucky has submitted about 50 already, and that he's got a school visit scheduled soon. So he's just wanted to remind everybody about Building Safety Month again, get those proclamations in, even though there's only a week left. And then he also wanted to remind everybody, again, I think Randy mentioned it, but about the Sustainability Membership Council and their video series that they're putting out there. So that's a little note from Director Hampton. And with that, does anybody have any other questions for the board of directors at all? Otherwise, we'll move on. I don't see anybody with any hands raised or anything. And that too, once again, if you are out there in the attendees area, if you do wish to speak, just raise your hand on the computer there, not just standing there by yourself raising your hand, but on through the WebEx, just there's the hand raise feature, and then we can get your microphone unmuted and everything. But for the other governing committee members, you can just unmute yourself and be able to speak. So just wanted to remind everybody about that. We will move on to the Iecc staff liaison report then. Bill?
Yeah, so thank you, Ed. And so as you heard, there is absolutely nothing going on at Iecc. No, seriously, thank you, Randy and Mike and Ben as well for, some pretty thorough reporting on what's happening in Iecc world. I send out the government relations chapter update to many of our stakeholders and members, and also the Membership Council Governing Committee every month. And frankly, sometimes there's stuff on there that I admit did not even know about myself. So I look forward to them as much as you all do. So good information on those government relation updates. And, Randy touched on just about every one of them during his report. So thank you, Randy, for that. And thank you to Ben and Mike for chiming in as well. He touched on just about everything that are important. More information did come out just yesterday on the ABM, of course. Registration is open, and for all of us governing committee members, I do have the registration report, registration code for you all to register for, as you typically are able to do. Just to make a note that in case you haven't seen the schedule, the membership council meetings are going back to Wednesday of the annual business meeting, and the reimbursement will be one night and travel to and from, as it typically has been. So keep that in mind. Well, more about that as we get closer to the ABM. Of course, we're ramping up to, getting all of the details out for that. But good to know that the registration is out there. Of course, we touched on Building Safety Month. We'll touch on that again. I'll just make a plea, as I do with all of my chapters, all of our members, to get out there and so getting chapter proclamations is wonderful. Of course, it's tremendous. But I like to challenge our membership to get jurisdictional proclamations from the towns that you work in, and from your membership. Many of you are chapter presidents, chapter leaders. Encourage your membership to get those jurisdictions and photos. By the way, I'm neglectful of getting photos. If you notice on our webpage, there's very few Building Safety Month photos. I actually think there's a governing committee from the building governing committee, building membership council, that we took in Rochester, and I believe that's posted. But there's very few, so I'd encourage you to take photos as well when you do those proclamations. The other item to touch, so yeah, the Building Safety Month there I touched on, and yeah, so just an awful lot going on, folks, with ICC these days, acquiring companies and growing and diversifying and still maintaining, some solid support to you all for code development with our new hire. And there are, comings and goings as any big nonprofit company would have. So staff changes, sometimes I get staff changes late in the game, and it's a challenge for me to try to keep up with it. But I'll make my last plea here for you all, for all of you that are on the governing committee, and for all of you who are listening in. I see some new names there, and respectfully, some familiar names on there that I'm glad to keep them muted. So anyway, the plea I'll make is reach out to your government relations manager. We are all over the country, and I'm not talking just government relations stuff. I'm talking PMG technical resources. We have a solid staff of PMG resource people that are out there. I'm assuming many of you know them. If you don't, please reach out to me or somebody. It is listed on our ICC website. It is buried a little bit, unfortunately, but we are the people that can help you get the resources you need to do your job. As I say to many of my chapters, we have a ton of resources at ICC, and some of them I don't even know about, admittedly, but I will make it my point to know about them so that I can provide them for you all. But you do need to reach out, because many times it's just, and we know you're busy. For those of you who don't know, I was a code official for many years, and I feel your pain. I understand the challenges. So, but we need you to reach out to us, and many of you do, to your credit. Many of you on the call, on the governing committee for sure, and the attendees, I see some names there that I talk to often. You do reach out, and those are good things. So continue to do that, and we'll continue to provide what you need to help get your job be more efficient, more effective, all in the interest of life safety. But other than that, updates, I think we've covered just about everything. There's a fair amount to do on the rest of the agenda. So I'll just give up my time at this point, and if anything comes up beyond, I'm glad to chime in, Ed, or anybody if they have questions.
All right, thanks, Bill. And I'm sure Paul appreciates you not calling him out as being one of the people that you are happy is muted right now.
Yes.
With that, does anybody have any questions for Bill on his portion of the report? All right, seeing none, and we won't get into the Bruins at all. So we'll just kind of drop that one. But
I kept my mouth shut. Yes.
I know. Actually, Bill, while I do have you, while we were talking about the ABM, I know in the past, governing committee members that we got I think we had a code or something when we registered.
Yes.
Is that coming out soon?
I believe I addressed that, Mr. Chair, but yes, I do. I just received those codes yesterday, and I will forward those out to the governing committee. If not later today, first thing tomorrow, you should have them in your inbox, ready to register for the conference. Yes.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I tune you out half the time, so that's probably why I missed it. So, all right, moving on the agenda then. Seeing nobody else wishing to be heard on that. So, IECC code development process update. I threw this one on there to kind of put you on the spot, Robin, and I probably should have given you some heads up that I was putting that on the agenda. But Robin, if you got a minute or two, nothing real formal, but do you have any updates on the IECC process?
Yeah, so we're moving along. Commercial committee is meeting today. Residential is meeting tomorrow. You know, we're getting through as many proposals as we can. I can say on the residential side, we're a little over 60% through all of the proposals, so that's great. We have about a month and a half left to get through everything, so it's looking good on both sides, the commercial and the residential, that we will actually meet our goal of getting through everything in June, and then hopefully having that public comment draft posted sometime in July or August. And no worries there, Ed. I did some scrambling once I saw it was on the agenda. I was like, oh shoot, I need to know.
Yep. Nope. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for the update there. Bill, I do see that Rich had dropped a link into the chat. I don't know if you wanted to unmute him and he can explain what that is.
I don't see that link. Rich Anderson?
Yep.
Yeah, let me bring Rich in, sure. I did not see him. I missed the link.
Hey, Bill, it was Rich. While you were talking about the PMG team, that's the link to our website that you said was buried, so no one has to go try to find it.
Good. Thank you so much for doing that. Excellent. So yeah, so it's in the chat. I don't have in front of me for whatever reason. Good.
Yep. All right. Excellent. Thanks, Rich. All right. Next up, Building Safety Month. We've Bill touched on it. The board of directors all touched on it. Does anybody have any other thoughts or discussion on Building Safety Month? Obviously, like I said, there's a week left. You can still get those proclamations in. If you have any issues with that, you know, definitely reach out to your GR rep. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments on Building Safety Month? Is anybody doing anything fun and exciting, or did do anything fun and exciting in their jurisdictions at all? Anybody?
Hey Ed, this is Amrinder here. So
Yeah.
we are actually going to have our proclamation issued today by our municipal council. We have our council meeting tonight because in Pennsylvania we had elections yesterday. So I am definitely planning on taking a picture and getting that over to Bill, and I will be having our proclamation uploaded. So unfortunately, with the COVID restrictions and stuff, we aren't going to be able to do an event, but this is going to be our 5th celebration in a row now. So just wanted to kind of put that out there since you asked.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? Did anybody get any big governor signings? Anything fun like that they want to share?
It was a big governors or anybody in U.S. Congress, please, or if it's state legislature as well. I mean, we welcome all of those. So please let us know. You know, let us know.
Yep. Wisconsin, we did get a governor signing there. I do see a few people in the chat that are jumping into there too. So yeah, it looks like Maine got a governor. And then New Jersey, New Jersey just had their 2022 Building Safety Conference in Atlantic City and had a great turnout. So yeah, definitely, you know, anything you guys can do to promote building safety all year round, but yeah, especially during May is always welcomed. So thanks everybody for your efforts on that. All right, we'll move on to the evolution and status document. Bill, you want to do your monthly?
Yeah, so I kind of made a commitment to myself and to keep this document live, or alive, if you will. It is an important document. I won't bother pulling it up now, but it does historically recognize the work that's gone into what the Building Membership Council has done over the years, way before all of us, I think, except for, I guess, I don't know if there's anybody left. Mike Metcalf, respectfully, but this document somewhat memorializes the work that's been done. So I'd like to keep it going, and I am missing the gap year of COVID. So I'll continue to keep it out there. I do think we made some progress on it, though. Ed and Mark and I have chatted about some of the stuff to expand on to maybe fill those gaps. But that document is important, I think, historically for us to maintain. So I'll continue to keep it on the agenda until I receive, comfort that it's going to be put to rest for future people who are going to be staff liaisons and governing committee members somewhere way after us.
Yep, excellent. And I appreciate you reminding me every 2 months here. Yeah, it's like I always used to tell my ex-wife with projects around the house, if I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. You don't have to remind me every 2 or 3 years. But
now she's an ex-wife, so
yeah,
that
now
clearly
she's an
didn't work.
ex-wife, so, yep. So, yeah. All right, moving on though. So the Charter and Policy Review Task Group. As you guys remember back in, oh yeah, and Tim just posted something. I'll talk to you later on that, Tim, on Wisconsin's. Our Charter Policy Review Task Group. If you remember back in Rochester, we did go through the election policy and we approved that. We also did take a look at the charter, our charter for the Building Membership Council. We had it 95% approved. The only thing that was kind of missing on there was just that last little piece on the quorum. Unfortunately, what started happening here, after Rochester, obviously, work kind of gets in the way, and we kind of dropped it for a little bit. We did start to bring that back, and I took a look at that. We had to get it onto the agenda for the board of directors meeting in June, because as we've mentioned before, the board of directors, they have to actually approve our charter changes. And so what I did with that one little piece that we were kind of fighting on, and not really fighting, but just trying to figure out the best way to do it in Rochester. It was, if you recall, it was the 25 person quorum at our annual business meeting of the general membership meeting, I should say. And we were trying to figure out a way to do, that 50% plus one is general members, as opposed to over the governing committee, so that we always had one more person out there. I just submitted it the way that it originally was. So without any changes, we just left it at 25 people. That kind of stays consistent then with the Fire Service Membership Council. Theirs is at 25. The Emerging Leaders is at 25. So it just sort of keeps us, in pace with what everybody else still has in their charter. If there is a better way of doing it, maybe we can hash that out through the Continuity and Outreach Committee, and they can maybe take a look at all the charters and come up with a different language for that if necessary. But so I because we did have it, like I said, everything was approved except for that one little line. I did send that in. But if anybody feels strongly against that, if we want to talk about that a little bit more, here's certainly our chance. We can submit I believe we can submit a revised charter, if we agree that we don't want to go that way with it right now. But I'll kind of open up to the floor if anybody has any thoughts, especially out of the charter and policy development team of Robin, Mark, and Tom. Anybody?
It's Matheny. I just real quickly. I said it as you set that out, but also I just appreciate you taking kind of that initiative. It just seems to make sense. We talked, I don't know, 10 or 15 different ways that it could look. We never came up with a good solution, and leaving it as it is, and has been for many years, I think is probably the best solution.
Yeah, this is something I would agree.
Yeah, this is Tom Allen. I agree also.
All right. And Robin, I think you said you agreed too.
Yeah, I think, after we were looking at it and trying to figure out how to make it, be very obvious. It just makes more sense to leave it how it was, because every other way it was just a little bit more complicated. So, I think that it's like, we know what we're trying to do, but it just wasn't very clear. So leaving it the way it was probably just makes the most sense.
Yeah, like I said, I think we were, like Mark said, we looked at, how many different ways of doing it. All of them were kind of right, but not really right. And so let's just go back to the way it was. We can take a look at it another time if it gets to be a problem again. And like I said, we're consistent with all the other membership councils that way. And so maybe this is a bigger issue then that CNO might want to bring up and take a look at that throughout, all the different charters and kind of come up with some good language there if they can come up with.
Yep.
All right.
And I just, that document that we all worked hard on, the group did, and then again in Rochester, that's been submitted to the Board of Directors for their meeting in June. There were 3 board members on. Now there are 4. Mr. Sayers has joined us. Welcome, Jim. And I just wanted to make a point that right now that item is on the board's consent agenda. Yeah, I think we want to suggest to the board members to read that and make sure they're clear on some of the changes. I think the committee did, and I'm sure you will. But I want to just make that point while you have him on the call here, and then point out that Jim is here too.
And actually, that's 5 board of directors then. So you're probably not counting Randy, who was.
Ah, yes, Randy, that's 5. Wow, almost at a quorum.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm used to not counting.
You count.
He'll never count me.
I apologize. Yes, you're right.
So for the board of directors who are here and for everybody that's out in the audience as well who might not have been with us in Rochester, there were a couple of things then that we tweaked on the charter. It's been 10 years since the building membership council was developed. So what we did earlier this year is we created a charter and policy review task group of Tom Allen, Robin Yoakum, and Mark Matheny. Just to kind of go through that whole document again and some of our other documents as well, and just make sure that everything is up to date. We brought in some of the other governing committee members. They had some input into that as well, and it wasn't just those 3. And then we also talked to the Emerging Leaders Membership Council, and we had their participation in that as well, just because they're the next generation here of building membership council leaders. So we kind of wanted to get their input in it. Plus, they had just looked at their charter. So I believe that sort of the major items in there. We kind of created a new membership category for honorary members who are recognized by ICC, not something that we're designating them as honorary members, but for people who are ICC honorary members, that they would be eligible to be onto the building membership council governing committee then. We changed our sort of the makeup of the group. Right now we have no less than no less than 12 members, but we usually run at 15 members in there. We tweaked that a little bit. It used to just be governmental members. Now we added in that honorary members and associate members would also have a sort of a place on the governing committee if they'd like to be there. And again, it's still up to the nomination committee of the BMCGC, who is actually going to get put forward as board of director candidates, and then it's still up to the membership to actually vote them in. So just because it's in the charter, having an option for them to be in there doesn't necessarily mean that they will be in there. And then we also went through and created a secretary position just to kind of help out with, some of the just sort of keeping track of, what we're up to and what the different subcommittees are up to, helping out with taking notes, helping out with some of that stuff. It creates another leadership position in there. So So those are sort of the major changes, but then they also went through everything else, did a few other little tweaks and changes in there, just to make sure that it's still relevant. It's still, you know, what we feel that the mission and the direction of this group is. So that's sort of the major changes. Charter team, is there anything else that I missed in there? I think that kind of hit the bullet points of it, correct? All right, I'm seeing some nods, so.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so with that then, the other one that kind of came up was also our election policy, and that got emailed out with the group here. That we did already approve at Rochester. So we made, you know, the team made some tweaks and changes to this. We looked at that in Rochester. We did approve that. So that's that final version did come out with the meeting request here. One of the things that's in there, and Bill, if you could maybe scroll down a little bit. I think go back up a little bit. I think it was like number 8, is it? Yeah, so if a vacancy occurs after the official election due to members being elected, either they bump up to the board of directors or something else, the BMC-GC will reconvene as soon as practical and recommend the next applicant from the list of nominees that the nomination committee came up with. If there are no current nominees, then a call for committee membership shall be announced in accordance with the conduct of Iecc Membership Council elections document. So as everybody here is aware, we did have 2 resignations. One of them was Martin Van Gundy, which we learned about just prior to getting together in Rochester. Shortly after Rochester, then also Jeff Griffin stepped down as well and submitted his resignation. So we're actually short 2 people. So as we discussed in Rochester, the nomination committee had come up with, had 3 more names that were eligible on the list. So I reached out to those 3 people after Rochester, shortly thereafter. One of them actually is now a member of the Emerging Leaders Governing Committee. So he's not eligible to kind of step over and join us here on the BMC. And then the other 2, despite trying to reach out to them, they never returned a call or an email, and I have not heard from either of them. So out of the 3 people that we had on the nomination report, none of them are eligible, which kind of puts us right back to the last sentence of section 8 there. If there are no current nominees, then a call for committee shall be announced. That's where we should go with this. However, after talking to Bill and Mark, we're at the point right now where probably in about a month-ish from now, we're going to be putting out a call for committee for the ABM, for our general membership or our general election for a new governing committee members anyway. I think if we put that out there now, that's just going to really confuse people, because we'd be kind of running 2 separate call for committees at basically the same time. You know, we'd start one now, in a few weeks we'd start another, and then I think that's just going to create some confusion. So I think what Bill and Mark and I kind of talked about was, we'll just skip it for now. We'll just hold off until the ABM, when the regular call for committees kind of comes out. And Bill, I see you turned on your camera there. Did you have something to add on that?
Yeah, no, thanks. I mean, that was, I think that's the most effective and efficient way to do it. The ABM information just came out, and as you know, it's short this year. It's early, and yeah, so I just think that the process will take care of itself. The group that's working here now has done some good work up until this point. Not that appointing somebody and going through the process wouldn't help, but I think the decision was really, it's really the governing committee's decision. But I think as the chair and the vice chair, you made the decision, as appropriately as you needed to.
Well, and again, and that's sort of the direction that we're going now. Something else to keep in mind, that when we do elect new governing committee members at the ABM, technically they don't start their term until January 1st of the following year. What we can do once we hold our elections, we know, who's going to fill Martin and Jeff's positions at the ABM. We then could, kind of bring those two people on, now, or, then immediately, I guess I should say. We could bring those two people on immediately, have them start right away to fill those two vacated positions. And then on January 1st, the new people would then in there as well. Just want to throw that out there. If anybody has any thoughts or comment on that, we can certainly open that up to discussion, but that seems the easier way to go. Yeah, Tom?
Yeah. Even with that, I believe we've got the minimum of 12 still on the board, because I think we had. So, yeah, I think that is the most logical and the best way to run that, because all it would do is cause a lot of confusion for us to try and do this do a call for committee twice in a couple of months. I think you've hit right on the right track. I don't know if we need to ratify your decision or not, but if that's the case, I'd be in favor of it.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Tom. And we probably only get them for, like, by the time we go through the whole process and stuff, they might be able to get in there for one meeting. So it's really kind of, they probably get brought in with about a month to go before the ABM. So they probably wouldn't be able to get much accomplished in that time anyway. But yeah, again, if anybody has any thoughts or comments on that, certainly open to that. All right. And I'm not hearing anybody, and I'm not seeing anybody unmute themselves. So I'm guessing we're kind of good with that direction. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Moving on the agenda then to subcommittee reports. The first one on here, committee chair changes. As we just mentioned, I guess we'll start with the easy one. Continuity or community building best practices and innovation. No changes there. Chris and Audrey are doing great. Good job. Thanks for being my only normal subcommittee in terms of leadership. So
yeah, we strive for normalcy. We get it nowhere else.
With the raise the profile though, obviously like we talked about in Rochester, Martin Van Gundy was there. He was the chair. He had to, he stepped away from the governing committee. Amrinder's willing to step up and be the chair, but he's still looking for a very strong vice chair who would like to step in and help him out. So again, I don't think we need to get anybody to step up right now. If they want to, we can, but otherwise, if you want to reach out to me in the next day or two, if somebody is interested, we really could use some help on raise the profile and giving Amrinder some help with that. They've got some really great stuff coming up, and just kind of need that extra little push there. And then with the continuity and outreach committee, what we're going to do there is, we talked about this again in Rochester of having another chair or a vice chair, something like that, from one of the other membership councils. And we did have Jim Williamette stepped up at Rochester and volunteered to kind of take over as chair of the continuity and outreach committee. And as you may recall, then Tim Deal from the Fire Service Membership Council had said that he would be able to step up and be fill in as the vice chair there. What we actually kind of decided after kind of talking it out with everybody is just going with a co-chair position. So both Jim and Tim are both going to co-chair the continuity and outreach subcommittee, and they've got a meeting coming up, and when we get down to the CNO committee reports, we actually just met with them on Monday, and we'll have a little bit of an update, even though neither of them are here. But that's sort of where the committee chair positions are sitting right now. And then, Bill, anything else on committee chairs, or are you gearing up for number 2?
Yeah, no, that was good. That's where we're at, and we're going to
Yep.
move on that. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So number 2 on that then is the call for subcommittee membership update. We did produce a kind of a welcome to the BMC email that we're going to send out to everybody, which kind of reintroduces them to the BMC, and then ask them to step up to for membership on those subcommittees. And Bill, do you want to give a little update on that, on where we're at with that?
Yeah, so it kind of ties into the committee chair changes. We had this document ready to go back in Rochester. Frankly, we had it ready to go soon after the board approved the new members, and as committee chairs were established, we modified the document. Actually, I think if you go onto the website, I haven't pulled it down yet, but that's tied into the call for subcommittee membership, as we talked about back at our first meeting in January, and then again in Rochester, the need to allow kind of a rolling call for membership in our subcommittees, other than this continuity and outreach. Continuity and outreach is a little bit different. It's more of just that continuity and outreach, but it's not really tied to any membership beyond governing committee people. Unless need be. But the other two, CBBPI and Raise the Profile, we would like to open that up to as many people as possible. We're giving the chairs the opportunity to run those committees and facilitate them with the help of staff and other members of the committee. So we want to bring people on board as much as we can. And the only way we know how to do that is to, number one, put something on the website so that people can go and register to be on a subcommittee, but we need to point them to that as well. And that was where the welcome letter came from, the idea. So we just haven't been able to process that because of all these changes to the subcommittees. But we're one step closer after today to getting ready to send that e-blast out, as we call them, to all of the Building Membership Council members, which at this point amount to almost 800 people. So that's what and then we hope to get inundated with subcommittee requests for membership, but I know better. We'll see.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. Thanks, Bill. Actually, while I've got you, why don't we why don't we kind of take this out of order, and let's do the continuity and outreach subcommittee meeting first, because I wasn't able there to attend Monday, but I know you were there. If you want to give a quick update on that.
Sure. Yeah, and I think there are some continuity and outreach. Well, certainly there are liaisons on the call from the Building Membership Council, but there are likely others who are on the call for who are also maybe can give an update when we get to that level shortly. But yeah, so we have scheduled with Tim and Jim a continuity and outreach meeting for June 1 at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That agenda and material will go out by Friday to continuity and outreach members and interested parties, and we'll gather on the 1st of June and kind of reboot it, as we're terming it, reboot the continuity and outreach with a couple of new co-chairs, and there are some new liaisons from the other membership councils. While we're on that note, we probably should address that we're missing a liaison from the Building Membership Council to the Global Membership Council when we lost Jeff Griffin. So we need to pull somebody from our membership council to serve in that capacity as that liaison. So yeah, so June 1st, and we'll try to clean up some of the administrative stuff, but those are good meetings for people that are on that don't know what we're talking about here, or maybe you do. They are brainchild of Chris Young, former chair of this committee and longtime member, who had the idea to bring all of the councils together for continuity and outreach so that we're not duplicating efforts. And so far, so good. And I'm going to stop there because then I will get into the matrix, and you don't want to hear my soapbox spiel on the matrix today. But just know that June 1 is the next continuity and outreach meeting.
Yep. Excellent. Thanks, Bill. And yeah, and with that, yep, I had that in my notes here to mention that we are missing a a liaison to the Global Membership Council. So if anybody, again, we don't need to get into it right now, but if somebody wants to step up and kind of help us out with the Global Membership Council, just reach out to me after the meeting, sometime this week or next week, and we'll get you kind of set up there. Even if you are, on another one, if you think you can take on, a little bit more, liaison positions, just let me know. But all right, with that, let's jump over to raise the profile. Amrinder?
Thank you, Ed. So really quick, I just wanted to share with the BMC GC. I know back in Rochester, we had discussed sending out the letters to the whole group, and I do apologize for that. We weren't able to do that. Obviously, there were some changes in the subcommittee, and then just with everything going on workload-wise, I kind of dropped the ball on that. So I do want to apologize to everyone, but we do have the templates. This is something we've been wanting to accomplish now for a little over 2 years, and this was something I really wanted to see if we could get done as quickly as possible. We haven't really had that many deliverables out of our subcommittee, and I wanted to see if this could be one of the first ones, especially with it being Building Safety Month currently. And I feel that this proclamation from the BMC GC recognizing building code officials and building departments and code departments across the country will be extremely beneficial. And one of the things we kind of started discussing at the last meeting, but we weren't really able to finalize, was how we were going to actually capture the request from a building official. So one of the things we've been talking about behind the scenes has been kind of possibly doing like a Google form where the official could put, their name, their title, the name of their municipality, the name of their department, whoever the chief elected or appointed official is. That way we can address the letter and the proclamation to them. And to keep things simple, we were going to have, Ed as the chair, sign the proclamation, and then it would pretty much just be emailed to the public, to the building official, and then that official can forward that letter and that proclamation to, their mayor or council or the city manager. So that's what the idea is, and I know it's going to be kind of not feasible to get it done by the end of Building Safety Month, possibly. But even if we're able to get this accomplished next month, we can pretty much have the cover letter, worded as in, with Building Safety Month behind us, we wanted to take this opportunity to, recognize, the Department of Buildings and Code Compliance for the city of Milwaukee, et cetera, et cetera. So we do have this template made out, and I was just hoping if we could have some guidance from the rest of the BMC GC, if they're okay with the language, if they wanted to modify the language, and kind of just go from there. So that's pretty much all I have, Ed, for the group here.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah. And yeah, Amrinder did just get that to me. So yep, I'll get that out to the group, and then we can take a look at that. And then once we're kind of good with the language that's in there, yeah, as you mentioned, then we can start to tweak around and figure out how to, come up with a Google form or Google Doc or something like that where people can kind of apply to get the letter. And then it's just sort of getting the word out there to people. So yeah, and it's an excellent program. We've been working on that for a couple of years now, I think. So yeah, it would be great to see that thing in action and actually being used out there. So thanks for your persistence on that, Amrinder, as we move through that. So next up on there is the CBBPI. Yep, there it is. Continuity Best Practices, Building Best Practices Subcommittee, and innovation. You forgot innovation on the agenda there, Bill, but that's all right.
Wow, you are right. My bad. Absolutely. Wow, good catch.
I think he just ran out of keystroke space. That's a lot of acronym there.
Yep.
You're good for something, Mr. Chair.
There you go. All right, Chris, what do you guys got for an update?
Well, at this time, we are excited because everybody is submitting their proposals. Excuse me, not proposals. Their candidates for Innovation Award nominations, and those are moving right along. We had some great communications with Mike Booth, who has received around 11 different applications. And with some fancy wizardry with the mathematics to make sure that we didn't have basically all of them as final candidates, we were able to narrow it down to just 4. And so I think that's much more manageable, so we're excited about that. And also my understanding is we're also, I think the innovation is going to be looked at a little bit more closely. There's some other things that we're still hammering out, but I think that once that's squared away, I think we're going to be able to continue to work with fire, just like we always have in the past. I'm excited about that as well. So that is the long and short of it. I'm not going to suck up any more airtime.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else out there have anything on the subcommittee reports before we move on to the membership council liaison reports? Any questions for Amrinder or Chris? Seeing none. All right. I know we had a couple people drop. Let me 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, I think we're good. We had
7,
some
yep.
board members have to leave for other meetings, right at the turn of the hour. So, but we're still good on a quorum, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, we're still good. So, all right. Moving on then to the membership council liaison reports, and we're again, I think we're missing a bunch of people here that do some of these, but there might be some people out in the audience, I guess, as well that can kind of help us out with some of these reports. Let us know what kind of what the other membership councils are up to. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
For the sake of apologies on my video, let me turn it. For the sake of people that are in the attendee gallery that may have an update for one of the membership councils, please raise your hand. Sometimes it might take a second to figure where that button is, but I think we can move on, and at least we'll get you at some point to give an update if you're inclined to do so.
Yep.
Just make sure you raise your hand.
All right. And yep, thanks for that. Emerging leaders. I don't believe our liaison is here, and I'm not sure if there's anybody. Oh, okay. I thought, Tom, were you jumping in?
I'm just preparing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had something on emerging leaders, but I don't see anybody in the attendees, or at least I don't see our liaison from the emerging leaders back to us in the attendees. So I'm guessing we don't have an emerging leader. Nope. Yep. Coda's willing to take a shot at it. We'll try getting you unmuted here. And all right, Coda, go ahead.
Well, I apologize. I'm a little unprepared today. But BLMC has been, let's see, we've been working on the Vote for Your Codes campaigns and on the proclamations as the main 2 things.
Excellent. Thanks. All right. Was that somebody else? No. All right. Fire Service Membership Council. Let's see, and that is Tom. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the last Fire Service Membership Council meeting, so I do not have a report on their activities. The next one is tomorrow, and I am scheduled to attend.
Excellent. Thanks. Yep, and I don't see Tim Deal here, so yeah, otherwise he could have filled us in maybe, but again, global, we don't have a liaison to global. I do see Maurice in the chat. I don't know, Maurice, if you do have an update, hit the little raise your hand button.
Put him in. Thinking he might. If not, that's fine, Maurice, but I brought you in nevertheless.
I can chime in a little bit too.
Sure.
Hello?
Yep. Hey, Maurice.
How y'all doing today?
Quite well. Yourself?
Fine. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for unmuting me. We had our meeting, Global Membership Council, on April 27th. And during that meeting, our Vice President for Global Services, Ms. Judy Sakreski, reported to us that we have a speaker and a topic for the Global Forum. The topic will be Learning from Tragedy, which would explore a tragic event that have impacted buildings and the changes made to the codes and standards and regulatory environment in the wake of those tragedies. The keynote speaker will be Gil Kanick, Gillkernick, author of the book Catastrophe, and currently a consultant with Arup based in London. Judy will be meeting with Gil very soon to discuss things, and you will see the program as it has been developed for the annual building meeting. The next thing we also talked about was about a new recommendations from our Global Track Committee. And the Global Track Committee focused on finding new activities that would improve the experience of our international attendees and enrich their experience as they are here in the United States. So the committee made recommendations that may include, or that will include, lounge activities, informal networking with US representatives and international attendees, networking breakfast in some of the days, site visits with the local building department. In fact, it was discussed in our meeting among the global members that actually it is probably one of the most enriching experience for an international attendee, because that gives them the opportunity to learn what we do here in the United States. And they can take those kind of techniques or experiences back home. And in addition to that, it was also said that some of the people who go to these departments go home with some handouts, which actually they can review in their own communities and countries. Additional activities will also include code development process. When that issue came up, our board member, Ms. Shirley Ellis, volunteered to teach code development process for both for the international attendees and those who wish to attend to those classes. So that was part of the Global Forum activities. And that's the key areas, and Ms. Sakreski is taking these recommendations to the board and to ICC leadership for their blessings, and perhaps, funding is always required. The next other good news that Mr. Sakreski told us is that ICC has gotten its first sister chapter. And the first sister chapter comes from the ICC chapter of Kenya in Africa. So that is a very great achievement, having passed all the vetting and due diligence required. Ms. Judy also reported that the Middle East and North African region program called the MENA, that they have just launched in the month of March, a Building Science Advisory Council. This Building Science Advisory Council, as described, is intended to bring the key stakeholders in that region to hear what they're going to say, and at the same time share with them the value of the ICC building solutions. So it's like a give and take kind of council, so that we can deepen our engagement with them and at the same time leverage that relationship for a better outcome. The next other thing that we talked about in our meeting was the webinar sessions, that's webinar series. As you may know, the February webinar, which focused on soft skills, presented by Ron Lane, was heavily accepted, and people commended it tremendously. So in our June, on June 13th, thereabouts, we have another key member, Ms. Annie Lou von Misner, who is going to provide a topic that focuses on sustainability with emphasis on wood timber construction. So she's gonna expand into that to elucidate or explain some more on the environmental benefits of using the wood products, and at the same time, the practical applications. These are just the key areas that we looked at, and in that regard, we are planning a second meeting, the next meeting on July 27th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Excellent, Maurice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mark, did you have anything else to add on that one, or did he cover it all for you?
Man, like a king, he just killed all of that. He got it all. So that was great. Just one quick thing is Global is really putting a lot of effort into making the ADM experience and the days afterwards very beneficial to the Global membership. So they've got a couple of side meetings that they're putting to try to build that experience is really now and hopefully in the future a more international experience.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah,
Great work, Maurice.
Yep, that would be fantastic. All right, thanks, guys. Major jurisdictions, like I said, Jim Williamette could not be here today. I'm not sure if anybody out there, Jose or anybody else, had wanted to give any update on major jurisdictions. And not seeing anybody raising up their hands, so we'll move on. PMG, we also do not have our liaison for them, but Rich Anderson's here. Rich, did you have any updates on the PMG group?
We met last week, and we want to just further continue the support between the PMG Membership Council as well as this Building Membership Council. So I think you're going to see either myself or Gary acting in that role to report back what happens in these meetings to the PMG Membership Council. And possibly moving forward, we'll come to you guys and let you know what's going on over there. But we just decided that last week, so it's a work in progress, like a lot of things we do. They are working on what's called we're not too sure what marketing is going to want to call it right now. A Four Corners campaign is kind of where Gary and I are landing, but marketing has some different thoughts on what to call it. We are looking to bring the PMG Membership Council to different regions to have some meetings outside of the normal meetings. And a little training event, a couple of 1-2 hour sessions, doing outreach with some of the state licensing agencies, local jurisdictions, contractors. So as we get more information on that, we'll share it with Bill as well as this membership council, so you guys are aware when we're in your region. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Sustainability, I don't see our liaison for that either, and I'm not sure that anybody out there, is anybody in the audience from sustainability?
I don't see any hands being raised.
Yep. All right.
Although that is one way to get yourself admitted as a panelist, and I won't remove you. So I hesitate to say that because I expect Damaris will likely raise his hand, but he knows nothing about sustainability. So.
Yep. Well, waiting for his hand to pop up here. But, all right. So with that, we'll close the membership council liaison reports. And then we'll move on to the non-BMC governing committee members time. So here's Damir's chance here or anybody else out there that's in attendance. If you had anything that you wanted any topics to bring up, anything you wanted us to discuss at a future meeting, or if you just had any comments about Bill Nash's style of running a meeting, here's your chance to raise your hand and be heard.
Ouch.
I don't have any issues with it. I'm just opening it up to the floor.
There's one hand that went up. I don't see it though. Kills me to do this, but so be it.
Is he in here? Paul, anything to add?
The way Billy runs a meeting.
There you are. You're available to speak now, Mr. Demers.
Always a pleasure to witness a meeting run by Bill Nash.
You don't get enough of that up in your neck of the woods, huh?
No, not nearly enough. No. Thank you for the opportunity to sit in, though. It was.
Yep. Absolutely. You're always welcome, Paul.
Thanks.
All right. Seeing nobody else with their hands raised, we'll close the members' time. And then we'll go on to new business here. We just got a few more minutes left, so I'll run through this stuff a little bit quick. But our mid-year report, I did submit that, and that's on the board of directors meeting for their June meeting. And yeah, Bill has it up right now. Basically, just kind of says, we've been going through a lot of transition here in 2022, with especially with the resignation of two members, one of which was a chair, of course, and then still trying to recover from the pandemic. But it kind of touched on what we have done on the some of the different subcommittees and everything. So that report's out there.
For the record here, this is a nice format for a evolution and status document, just in case anybody is taking notice, just saying.
Yep. So yeah, we may just take this and start to tweak that a little bit. So and I did mention in there, of course, our charter changes and everything, and kind of touched on what each of the different membership councils have been working on. So with that, we'll move on. And the Innovation Award update, Chris already kind of touched base on that earlier in the CVBPI committee update. I don't think there's anything else really to add there, unless Chris or anybody wanted to jump in, and I don't see anybody jumping off of mute, so I'm going to guess that we're good there.
The innovation, yeah, so that really hasn't ramped up. I don't know, there's nobody from the fire service on at this point. Tom may, or maybe he's jumped off. He wasn't at the meeting, but I believe that they may bring it up tomorrow at their meeting. The process needs to get started to review those applications, and I'll try to get on that meeting tomorrow, but one way or another, Tom, you may catch wind of it if you don't mind reporting back to us.
I'll be happy to, Bill.
Thank you.
Yep. Excellent. All right, Board of Directors candidate forum discussion. This was something that we talked about last year. I wanted to throw it back on the agenda this time. That's something, if we want to do it, we really kind of got to get moving on that pretty soon. Because as we mentioned before, the ABM's coming up soon. It's actually a little bit earlier this year. It's in early September. September 10th, I think, or 11th, something like that, till the 13th, somewhere in that range. So if we do want to do a candidate forum, again, we talked about this the last couple of years, or last year, of not necessarily not something to where we're going to endorse any candidates or anything like that, but just more of an information gathering, kind of give them a platform for our membership to kind of listen in on who they are and what they're all about, but also even have some of the other membership councils possibly join in on that as well. So we're kind of getting all the membership councils together. It's a chance for the board of directors, then the board of director candidates, to then reach out to potentially hundreds of people all at the same time, to kind of get their message out there to people. And we can just ask them a few questions, let them respond, and then kind of move on. Almost more of like a town hall feel, I think, is what we kind of talked about last year. Where it's not really pinning you down to real things, but it's more just having that conversation and kind of getting the word out to everybody. So I guess I'm looking for you know, if there is somebody who wants to step up and kind of take that over, you know, and kind of run with that a little bit, or a couple people, you know, I'd love to hear from you. And Mike, I see you took yourself off of mute. Do you want to? Is that a sign of volunteering?
No, it was a sign of I got a fat thumb on a cell phone. But
oh, sure.
Yeah, now that I did take myself off of it, I would be glad to help out with that.
All right.
Whoever else wanted to jump in and kind of help work out the parameters and see what it is that we want to do. So
excellent.
Sure.
Yep. Thanks to your fat thumbs, you're
me and my fat thumb. But no, I would be
excellent.
I would be happy to help with that.
All right. Yeah. If anybody else wants to, you know, help out with that as well, you know, Dan, I know you had talked about, you know, maybe taking a special project like that and sort of running with it. You know, or otherwise I'll send this out to the rest of the group, you know, since we are missing a few people, and we'll see if we can't get a few others to jump in there and help out on this thing and maybe put something together.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to overload Bill or anything, but it might be I think you hit the nail on the head. It's hard to believe that we're already, Pittsburgh seems like yesterday. We're already 3.5 months out from 4 months, whatever it is, to the next ABM. So I don't know if you guys want to put together some sort of a chat forum or something on it to iron out some parameters. Bill's probably choking me electronically right now.
No, Mike, no worries. But this is a little bit of a tricky subject. If you recall our discussion last year, we need to. What I was going to suggest, we need to kind of think this through. But what I was going to suggest is it might be appropriate to put in front of as an agenda item for the continuity and outreach to reach out to all the membership councils and see what their feeling is generally. I think the idea that, you know, it's sponsored by the building membership council, but with input from the other councils might go a long way. The tricky part for us, for me as a staff person, is that, you know, I can simply facilitate the platform like I am today, and there'd have to be a moderator, and it might get a little dicey, or maybe not, but it's worth the discussion, I think, at continuity and outreach, and also additional staff people. I think if you recall, we were asked, I think, last year to back off on it for this year and consider it for next year. And here we are, of course, all of a sudden, it's time. Whether there's going to be time allocated, I'm not exactly sure how the ABM schedule lays out for candidate forums, and when we would plug ours in, you know, prior to. But those are things that I think maybe might be, at this point of the meeting, it's just about 4:30. We move it to the continuity and outreach and report back to the full group as soon as possible.
Okay, well, count me in on whatever chats and discussions you have.
Excellent. Yep. Yeah. And with that, yeah, like Bill said, yeah, we're kind of at our time here. So we'll have to have more discussion on that in the near future. So with that, our next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, July 13th at 3 p.m. Eastern again, 2 p.m. Central if you're on correct time, as Mike Pfeiffer would tell you. Does anybody have anything else that they wanted to bring up before we close? And if not, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Anybody?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion is second then to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are closed. Thanks everybody for sitting here. I know an hour and a half out of your day is a long time, and I really appreciate everybody that stuck with it. And you know, I think we're really on that brink of getting a whole bunch of really cool stuff out there and done and everything. So Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a safe travels and whatever you're doing.